Yay. Well, hi, everyone. This is Lisa Blaisdell, National Marketing Director on the HEAT team. Happy Thanksgiving week. It's amazing that here we are headed into the holiday season. And I know that if you're listening to this call, if you're with us tonight, or if you're listening later, I know that you are just as grateful as I am for Juice Plus and the Juice Plus company and all the amazing people that make up the Juice Plus community. And tonight we have someone that I am grateful for, that I am so honored to call my friend. She's a friend to many people in the Juice Plus community, Toni Olson. And I'm just going to introduce her quickly to you guys. I could make this up because we are friends and I do know her, but I actually learned a couple things about you, Toni, reading this bio. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so impressive. So Toni is a national marketing director with the Juice Plus company. She is a 2-time Elton Award nominee, a 50 Club member, and featured on, the Mom on a Mission on the product and the business and the children's health study videos. So if any of you guys watch some of the older videos, Toni is on there and you look exactly the same. Those videos are not new. So you look exactly the same. Her passion is helping people take responsibility for their own health, wealth, and vitality. More specifically, she loves teaching families about the importance of good nutrition. Toni is the proud mom of 3 beautiful daughters, ages 22, 20, and 17. Prior to having children, she served as the International Sales and Marketing Director for the Park City Chamber of Commerce, and she worked for the United States Olympic Committee, I did not know that, in France during the 1992 Winter Olympic Games, where she met her husband, Jeff, which makes total sense. Toni received double degrees from Tufts University and is a certified health coach and wellness educator. She loves to stay physically active and does yoga, Pilates, running, skiing, and swimming. She was able to retire her husband from the corporate world by working part-time and around her family's needs to build a successful Juice Plus virtual franchise. So Toni, you're such a doll, you're such a bright light, and you and Jeff have made so many contributions to our company. We're so excited to have you on the call. And you said you'd talk about whatever, but I would love for you to hear your story. And then what are you guys up to right now with your team? I think we all love to hear what everybody's up to. And so take it away, my friend.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the invite. It really is my pleasure to join you guys tonight on this call. And I'll just start by sharing a little bit about my journey with Juice Plus. I first heard about Juice Plus, oh my gosh, over 20 years ago. This February, it'll be my 20-year anniversary with the company. But the first time I heard about it was when my father-in-law was going through a major health crisis. And at that time, someone recommended Juice Plus as nutritional support. He immediately brought it to Jeff, and it made complete sense to Jeff. You know, he was an Olympic athlete. He's always taking care of his body. Of course, why wouldn't you want more fruits and vegetables in your body? He brought it to me, and I immediately poo-pooed it. I said, it's probably fine for your dad, but we certainly don't need that. We eat great. We don't take any vitamins. And so we did not get on Juice Plus. Fast forward about a year, we ran into someone that he had competed with in the Olympics, and she mentioned that her knees weren't aching as chronically. And he said, what have you been doing? And she said, for the last year, I've been taking these fruits and vegetables in a capsule, this Juice Plus. And he looked at me and said, oh my gosh, that's the stuff you won't let us take. And so it was in that moment, honestly, that I opened my mind to learning about Juice Plus. And I tell you that whole story because I think it's important to remember that timing is such a big thing in our business. And I am pretty certain there's nothing anyone could have said to me the first time I heard about Juice Plus, just where I was at in my life. I was 8 months pregnant and I had all kinds of stuff going on. I'm pretty sure there's nothing anyone could have said that would have opened me up to it then. But the second time I thought, wow, what if this could make some little difference for my husband because he was forced to retire from his passion, his love of ski racing, because he basically wore out his patella tendons. And so I was visualizing him 10, 15, 20 years down the road, kind of creaky. And I thought, what if this could help a little bit? So that was my motivation to learn about Juice Plus. And when I did, I was kicking myself because I knew that we ate well, but not perfect, and that there certainly was no downside to getting more fruits and vegetables. Oh my gosh, hold on. My daughter's FaceTiming me. There we go. She's gone. So I knew there was no downside to getting more fruits and vegetables with Juice Plus. And so we started consuming it. And I, in addition to being a really skeptical person, am also a value-driven person. And I thought, you know what? I want my mom to take it. I want my brother. So I'll go ahead and sign up as a rep and offset my costs. So a very typical story. So many people start in this business that way with no intention of building a business. And I will tell you, on the product side, what I experienced first was energy. I was nursing my daughter at the time, but I also had major improvements with my skin. I've suffered from eczema my whole life, and that was huge for me. And probably the biggest thing was the peace of mind I had as a mom over the last 20 years, really, to know my kids have started every day with this massive foundation of nutrition is just really priceless. So the product I came to absolutely love and adore. And on the business, what's really interesting is I completely fell in love with this business model. I fell in love with the freedom and the flexibility of it. I was just sharing Juice Plus naturally. I was out living my life. My kids were really young. I was sharing in mops, and I knew that it would add value for people, and especially with small kids. And so my business kind of grew in spite of me in the beginning. But then what happened was we were in a place where Jeff was traveling all the time. He worked for a mutual fund company and was gone like 80% of the time. And I really was not loving being a single mom. And he saw me making substantial gains with my business. And we just sort of made this decision that we would be all in and go for national marketing director. It took us 5 years to get to NMD. And he left the corporate world at that point and has never looked back. So it's been an amazing, amazing blessing for us. And I will tell you that today, this business means more to me than ever. I think, Lisa, you may know, 3 years ago, my mom had a really major health crisis. She had a stroke and she lost the left side of her body. And she's in a wheelchair and needs 24 hours a day care. And because of this amazing business, I get to be at home and take care of my mom, and also be helping to provide for my family and helping people with their health and making a difference. So I just am extraordinarily grateful. I see women my age who are, their kids are, they're becoming empty nesters. Their kids are going off to college, and suddenly they are, in fact, just last week we had a neighborhood get together, a bunch of moms were talking, and a couple of them, one of them was in software sales 20 years ago. And now she's like, her kids have flown the coop and she doesn't know what to do anymore. And it made me feel so incredibly grateful to have this business and to be able to offer this business, particularly to other women, so that they have something, something that can provide for them, and a community. This community has just done so much for our family. I can't even tell you. So that's kind of the long version of my journey with Juice Plus. But I know you wanted me to touch on maybe some success tips and what's working. And so I thought long and hard about, over the course of the last 20 years, what really has made the biggest difference for me. And it's interesting because I think the more things change, the more they stay the same in some ways, because there are certain things that still today ring true, that are so important to success in this business. And I feel that one of them really is your story, knowing your story. And I was kind of hoping I could see everyone's face, and I was going to ask, how many of you truly are 100% confident in sharing your story, your product and your business story? Like, hands down, at a drop of a dime, it would just roll right off your tongue authentically, and you would feel really good about it. and I am gonna scroll because there's a couple people that I can see their smiling faces. But I'll be honest with you, it was something that for me in the beginning, I kept hearing, like, write out your story, like practice your story. And I was like, yeah, I got it. Like, I know, I get the gist of it. And I never took the time to do that. Honestly, I think until they asked me to train on my story. And then I was like, oh crap, I actually think I need to figure out my story. So I will tell you that it is, in my opinion, when we bring someone on, like, that's the first thing we do is like really help them to figure it out. And of course it's going to change over time, but it's so vitally important. So with your product story, our team, we like to have like a 30-second elevator pitch product story and a longer, like 1 to 2 minute. And then with the business story, I find that's where people really struggle the most. And so we just kind of get into it with them. And I will ask you to, kind of think about, what do you really want from this business? Why are you doing this? Why are you really here? Are you like crystal clear on that? And I love what the Australians do. We actually have quite a bit of business in Australia. We've been down there a couple times. And so we learn a lot from the Australians, but their whole training around story, they use the acronym PLOT to help people craft. Have you guys heard that? To help people craft their story. So, the P standing for what's the pain? What is it that isn't working? What stresses for you? Okay, sorry, I'm reading the comments. Yeah, and it's ever changing. True. So first identifying that, and then the L is the lesson. What was the moment, the realization that you learned that lesson, and then the PLO, the O is for opportunity. So what are the solutions you could see this business providing for you and your family, or creating? What could this business help you create in your life or provide for you? And then the T is for triumph, and really figuring out, so far, what has this business done for you? What can you appreciate about it? What are you excited about? What are you enjoying? Because if you've just started, I know that's hard, but like, what are you enjoying? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping what it's going to do for you? So I like that as just a little, if people get too hung up on creating their story, kind of thinking about that acronym and going through that with them. Again, I can't see because I am always curious. I wanted to see how many people really, really love their story. They believe in their story. So something we do with our team when people are struggling to get their story down is we have them, and you guys probably do this because you have the masters on the call. I'm intimidated looking at the Cottons and Lisa. You guys have the unbelievable leadership on this team. So I'm sure you're already like doing all the things you should be doing. But if you're struggling with your story, we have people, either Jeff will have them on Voxer, send their story, Voxer or on Messenger, record it and send it every day for 30 days. And I will tell you, people's story evolves and transforms, and by the end, they got it. They got it, and they can both their business and their product story. So that's just something I think is really, really powerful to make sure. I mean, that is what's going to create curiosity for people, right? When we share that story from our heart and are sincere and genuine. And then what we want to do is just focus on them and start asking questions. We kind of open up the door to create intrigue. And then what I like to think is, we're focusing on them and asking tons of questions. So hopefully we sparked something with our story that you'll pick up on and take from there. Okay, I did make a list of things here just to make sure I cover. And I was kind of thinking, Lisa, if anyone has questions, I'm happy to do questions at the end too, because I wasn't sure what exactly you wanted me to cover. So the other big thing that I think is just timeless in this business is really cherishing relationships. So whether that is customer care and taking amazing care of your customers. And again, I look at the Cottons, I can see your faces and I know your love calls. Like, I'm sure your team is phenomenal at this, because I mean, that was powerful for me to learn from you guys, like just how to love. And I think to this day, that's the one thing in all the years that I have always done really, really right, is just love on, build those relationships and love on people. Juice Plus, you know, I've been patient with people that have told me no for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, and then all of a sudden they're my customers, and then they're on my team. And we've had customers, I mean, again, like Chris and Nikki, probably for almost 20 years, we've had customers. And I think because I've always put that relationship first. I've always been more concerned about them having a good experience on Juice Plus, and getting good results, and being educated and adding value for them. So I will say that I think what's really important, I know I sometimes see people get so excited, they got the customer, they put the order in, they're like, boom, like kind of forget about it for a while because it's 4 months, right? So I think what is really important is, first and foremost, finding out what their expectations are when they first start on Juice Plus. And I was kind of sad when they took that program away, with, you know, where I forget what they call it now. But so we created our own little list of questions that we ask customers when they're first starting, to just really have a good sense of what their expectations are from that. And I think if you do that, it will, you know, at the end of 4 months, it's so much easier to go back to them and say, do that follow-up call, and see how their experience was, and remind them of everything they told you. So that is one thing that we're really, really good about, is making sure that people are doing excellent customer care. And at this time of year, one thing our team focuses on is customer appreciation. And so we have a couple of customer appreciation events set up. And those are opportunities truly just to bring, you know, we have a whole bunch of reps get together and invite customers and just have a nice evening with them. You know, some of them will do little gift bags with bars or samples of the complete, but it's just for them to see our community, and hopefully to interact with other Juice Plus people, maybe hear some stories, that kind of thing. So we really struggled with dates because December's always so crazy. So we have gone ahead and set up 2 for January. And I think anytime you can just let your customers know how much you appreciate them, I think that is only gonna do good things. Oh, there's my husband. He always does this. He's over there making sillies. Did you say hi to Chris and Nikki?
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, how's Africa? Catch you later.
We have a lot of fun in our business. I will tell you that. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Next thing I was going to say, he always does that to me. He's over here distracting me.
The
what
lions
is that all
and tigers
about?
and bears. Oh my.
Okay.
We saw them in person, Jeff.
What?
We saw them in person.
I bet you did.
See, you were
More later. I want to hear all about it.
So yeah, on those lines of relationships, I think also really loving on your team, you know, and really, even if you're new, so maybe you haven't grown a big team yourself yet, but as you often hear, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So what's the vibe you're putting out there? And when you do get a new person, are you locking arms with them? Do they know what you know? Are you kind of welcoming them into the community and really getting them excited about what we have to offer? I think one thing Jeff and I just started doing is now recently on our team call, once a month, we do like franchisee of the month. And we just kind of acknowledge someone who is just giving to the community, who's going above and beyond. Just, you know, when we take them out to lunch or we'll send them a gift card, it's just fun little things like that. I think when you can acknowledge your team, let them know how much you appreciate them and support them, that's just, again, building that relationship. You will never, ever go wrong. I did see someone say something in the chat. Should I?
Where can we find the questions that you ask your customers?
Oh, okay. It's an ever revolving document, but I can get that to you guys. Yeah. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Should I just send it to Lisa and she can?
And Lisa, then you could post it on the Heat Team Facebook group. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So on the lines of what's working for us, one thing that we are kind of excited about, and you'll probably laugh because we're slow, and I'm sure your team has already done this, but have you guys read this? Yes? Have you conversed about it? You read it twice? Okay. Because this is something we're going through with a lot of our team right now, and it's astounding, the limiting beliefs that we're coming across. And so one thing that I was just gonna, again, I didn't know how interactive this was gonna be, so I was just gonna pose the question, why aren't you where you think you should be in your business right now? Like if you think about that, why aren't you, if you're a VF, why aren't you at SC yet? What comes up for you when you think about that? And a little exercise that we like our team to do is to have a buddy, and you can do it on Voxer, you can do it in person, but just kind of share some questions. And so one thing we did recently at our potluck was just say to buddy up, and then we had them say, I would be more successful in my Juice Plus business if, right? And then they took 3 minutes to write down all of the things that were getting in their way, right? I'm too this, I'm too busy, I'm whatever it is for them. And it's like 3 minutes, do it on paper and pen, don't stop, you and your partner, go for it. And then afterwards, we had them talk about, first of all, look at that list and ask yourself, is it true? Like, are all those things true? Because at the end of the day, where you are now and where you want to be, like what's in between there are just the stories you're telling yourself, right? So are they good stories, or are you making up some things that are holding you back? So just some exercises like that are kind of fun and also force you to buddy up. And again, I look at your leadership, and I'm sure you guys are doing all the right things already. And if you've already done this book twice, I'm thinking I'm not going to talk too much more about that. So in the last 5 minutes, I don't know if you have questions you want me to talk about.
Toni, I don't know about you, Lisa, but if you wanted to talk more about the big leap, that's fine. Whatever you feel is most important. That book was in the last 20 years, I think it's been one of the most powerful books I've ever read. Yeah. And I know that I've listened to it twice on Audible, and I've read it twice. And there's a few of us that are doing a little bit of a book club around it. It's an amazing, powerful book to really get you to see that space between that you talked about. Why are you here and here, and what's that piece? And he looks at it in a very different way than a lot of people do. That upper limit piece is really fascinating.
Fascinating. It was so eye-opening for me personally, where I saw myself holding myself back, like keeping myself small, and I couldn't believe it when I read the book. I was able to identify all these things. So yeah, it's powerful. So has most of your team read it?
Yeah, no, I held up my hand twice, and so did Sophie. So did Nikki. But I've never done it as a book club. It's a really good idea, actually, because I think that the awareness that people, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your business, because it applies to all areas of life. I mean, he references marriage and, relationships and, all kinds of things that can hold us back in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be about business, but it is a great idea to do it as a book club. I love that.
Yeah. We had about 12 people that volunteered that wanted to do it, and a different person takes a chapter each time. And the conversations have been very deep, very tearful, lots and laughter. It's been pretty intense. It's been very vulnerable. It's a great book.
Yeah.
So Toni, I just want to say that most people, I think, on the team have not read it. So what would be your most powerful thing that you'd like to say about it?
Most powerful. Gosh, there's just so many things. Chris, I think just opening my eyes to my own, how I've been holding myself back, like, and not even realizing it, like completely oblivious to it. So, yeah. And I'm actually asking my kids to read it. I do think on so many levels, it's been powerful.
It does remind me that, I've done a lot of work over my 70 years, and reading that book, I went, oh my God, that's me.
Exactly. The other thing I was going to ask you guys about, I forgot that I was going to ask you, are you using the bank code? Because that is the other big thing on our team that is really, really making, no, you're not.
I know them, and some of my team were at Jeff's early training. Those gals actually live down the street from me. I think they're awesome. I run into them at networking events from time to time. I think I have their stuff in my drawer, but I have not gone through the course.
Yeah. And there are some of my team that have done it. And I love the idea that you don't necessarily need to do the course. You need to have those 4 cards, pay attention to them, and then see what applies.
Yeah. So, and the online version's really good too. Crackmycode.com. You can have someone just go there and look at them, and they click on the cards and it'll drop them down into the order of 1, 2, 3, 4. And that has been really powerful for our team. And I know Mitra actually, she flew out there, so she's putting together for Juice. She'll probably open it up to all of Juice Plus, because she's working with them to try to get some specific training for our community. But that has been a game changer lately for us.
Cool.
Probably, yeah, I would say.
It's called Bank Code, right?
Yeah, the website's crackmycode.com. And that's just a free, you can just go there and have someone put them in order, the 4 different.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yeah. It's like the personality types.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that has been even in my own house. Like, I had my daughter do it, and I was sure she was going to be either like red, like her dad, action person, like her dad. And she was a total nurturer. Like, she's like, no, the yellow, the nurturer. And I was like, what? So the things you can learn about people. Yeah. So if you're trying to take care of your customers, it's an amazing tool to kind of figure out what's most important to them. Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're really using that a lot right now. Super excited about doing more with that.
That's cool. We'll look forward to hearing more about that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
well, Toni, you're amazing. Thank you so much for just being who you are. I think you and Jeff just really exemplify, who our company is. I mean, you're awesome leaders. You're always giving to other people, and you guys are all over the place, and your family always comes first. I always see you with the girls, and of course that's where my heart is too. So I just so appreciate you taking some time on this busy holiday week, and just want to say
we love you guys. We would do anything for you, and we are just incredibly grateful to get to be part of the community, and part, you get to do this business and change people's lives the way we do. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's awesome. Well, thank you, my friend, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Everyone can just unmute and say a big, warm, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you to Toni.
Happy Thanksgiving, Toni.
Thank you so much, Toni. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Toni and Nikki.